Are you serious? Are you serious? It's getting extremely serious in Venezuela, folks. Matter of fact, it's beyond serious. It's dangerous now. And let me just share with you what's going on. Sorry for moving the camera around. But matter of fact, the president of Peru is now calling Venezuela. He says, folks, it's becoming a sea of blood. Latin America needs to take action now, he says, to help Venezuela resolve its political crisis or risk that country turning into a sea of blood. The Peruvian president, Pedro Pablo Kuczynski, said on Monday, he was warning, he said this yesterday, that a wave of refugees could start pouring into Colombia. Matter of fact, they'll pour into all over Central or South America and Central America if something isn't done. The president of Peru said during a press conference in Madrid that the Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro should let the humanitarian aid enter his oil-producing but economically ailing country. Dozens of people have been killed in protest against Maduro's socialist government. Somebody tell Bernie Sanders. That's what happens when you have socialism. Somebody remind, did he learn any history? Do we know what happened? Do you understand what took place in Castro's Cuba? Do you understand what took place in Lenin's Russia? Do you understand what happened to the old Soviet Union bloc, Eastern Europe? Anywhere, look at China. I mean, anywhere and everywhere that's socialistic, communistic regimes have ruled, it's turned into a mess of poverty and pain and plagues and pestilence and poison and people dying. I mean, so anyway, here's what he said. He said, if nothing is done, we're going to end up with a sea full of blood. According to the president of Peru, he warned of the threat of massive immigration to Colombia and said desperate refugees might even try to get into the Caribbean islands, risking a replay of the deadly Mediterranean journeys of refugees that we're watching already from Syria and Iraq and Somalia, and just add a bunch of countries over there in the Middle East from the radical Islamic terrorist regimes. And he said we have to avoid this. If Latin America has any solidarity among countries, we have to try and find a solution here. Well, the solution would be to take Maduro out of power, to regroup by holding some kind of elections for the people, taking the oil, giving people back their businesses that he stole. He literally just went around stealing business. He did the same thing as Castro. It's what socialism is, folks. It's insane. You take people's entrepreneur spirit away. You take their ability to make a living away and just hand them handouts and hand them crumbs. What happens? They took over the farms. They took over the food processing plants. They took over the food distribution. They're taking over the grocery stores. That's why the shelves are empty. Communistic, super socialistic ideology is stripping people of their entrepreneur opportunity and draining them of their freedom. It will end in a disaster. Venezuela was a very prosperous, very strong, modern country that's now collapsing. I'll talk to you more about this today in our live broadcast. Starts at 12 noon Eastern. My guest is Reverend T.D. Hale. He'll be talking to us about the prophecies of America. Boy, I tell you what, I can't wait to find out more about what the Lord's been revealing to him in the visions and dreams that he's received. And he's been on the money, predicting that President Trump would win the election the day after Christmas 2015, in a vision, a dream he received. And even seen Trump walking toward the White House with a coffin in front of him. He wasn't sure what it meant. And then we know just 6 weeks later that the Supreme Court Justice Scalia died. And that seat was never filled till Trump got to the White House. There's no question. He also saw dreams of the eagle being shot from the balcony of the Trump balcony of the White House under the Obama administration. There's a whole lot of things. We're going to talk about all of this today. Don't miss the broadcast. It is live right here on this YouTube channel. and at my website and everywhere else that I broadcast live. So don't miss it. 12 noon Eastern. Are you serious? A sea of blood in Venezuela. Pray for these people down there. Pray for them. Give your life to Jesus Christ. These are the last days.